Hey everybody, Black Ninja 797 here, and welcome back to some more Left 4 Dead 2. In today's Left 4 Dead 2 video, I am once again going to be asking you guys some Left 4 Dead 2 themed Would You Rather questions. I have done 2 episodes so far, this being the 3rd. You guys really have been digging it, so I'm more than happy to keep posting it. So my friends, I've once again got 7 Would You Rather questions. These are going to be sometimes easier, sometimes harder. It really just depends on the nature of what you perceive as a difficult question. But at the end of the day, with all that being said, let's hop in to Left 4 Dead 2 Would You Rather questions. Alrighty, my friends, so for the very first question... What's your social security number? No, I'm just kidding, guys. But seriously, the very first question, and it's going to be a little bit of a fun one. It's pretty lighthearted, and I'm just curious to see what your guys' answers are, because this is really just going to depend on how much you like this game. But the question is going to be, if you had the choice between playing every other video game ever, but you couldn't play Left 4 Dead 2, or, on the other choice, if you could only play Left 4 Dead 2, which choice would you pick? Now, don't get me wrong, I absolutely adore Left 4 Dead 2, and I definitely could play this game and make it last for a long time. But forever, and in comparison to other games, that's just honestly going to have to be a no from me, Chief. I love Left 4 Dead 2, and I can make it last for a while, especially with mods from the PC version. But dude, I feel like, honestly, there is going to be a point where I've done everything. And plus also, as well, is that eventually content for Left 4 Dead will just slow down over time. There will be fan-made content, but after a while, eventually will just stop. And then eventually I have nothing other than just stuff I've seen before, and so eventually I feel like I would just inevitably get bored. Yes, I could try to go the mastery route, but then again though, I mean, eventually people just need a break. I mean, I've had a break from Left 4 Dead for a while. In fact, actually, fun fact, there was a time where, before I started playing again recently, I actually had a break for a couple years. Like, you guys kind of, like, sparked that interest in me, but I also had to take a break to be able to really get that passion back, just because we all need that breaks. So, for me personally, I'm going to have to politely decline that offer for that question, because there's so many other great games out there. In fact, just to give you guys a random shoot of some of my favorite games of all time, some other games that I would just love to play in comparison to Left 4 Dead 2 if I had the choice, because if it's one game versus many, I'm going to pick some of these. Like, just a random shoot is going to be some of my favorite games of all time, is like Overwatch, Minecraft, Left 4 Dead 2, of course, The Walking Dead Season 1 by Telltale Games, Detroit Become Human, Spider-Man PS4/5, Black Ops 3, Black Ops 2, Ghost of Tsushima, and Zelda Breath of the Wild. These are just some games that I just really would adore to play again. And who knows, maybe one day I will go back to them again, because I know that there is some games that you guys not only have suggested that I've fallen in love with, but some games that I have played that you guys have fallen in love with. And I know some of them, like, are The Walking Dead, for example, and you guys would not be opposed to seeing that come back, because I've seen the comments. But yeah, even though that was kind of a long answer to the question, unfortunately, Left 4 Dead 2, if I had to make the choice, I'd have to pass you up, buddy. But hey, even though that was long, it was still definitely fun.
That's what she said!
Alrighty, my friends, now let's move on to question 2. So for question 2, guys, if you had the choice between owning Jimmy Gibbs' stock car and the Crash Course armored truck as your main vehicle of choice, which one would you pick? Now, this also might end up being kind of an unpopular answer, but I have to choose the armored car, just because as much as I think the Jimmy Gibbs stock car will be fun, the armored car is so much more efficient. Now, although be it could end up being faulty and I don't know it, but I would like to believe that that truck could probably last a while in comparison to Jimmy Gibbs' stock car, because it's only just a stock car. If you have, like, basically a Mad Max vehicle, I feel like you're going to be a lot more better off, just because you got literally everything protecting you. You don't have to worry about getting surrounded and basically being trapped, because if you have, like, Jimmy Gibbs' stock car, you know, zombies might eventually end up breaking down things like windows, and you get surrounded, and just be hard to survive. Plus, also, the thing just naturally will run out of gas more. It's just less efficient, because it's not meant to exactly be the zombie apocalypse vehicle of choice, but I understand it would be more fun. But in terms of survival, I'm just going to have to go with the armored car from Crash Course. Alright guys, here's another simple one. Would you rather have it where the boomer vomit on you, or if the spitter spit on you in real life? Because both of these are going to not only be disgusting, because they're literally just bile and acid, but they're also going to be painful, because even though the vomit might not sound initially painful for the boomer, keep in mind what that does is it's literally going to send a whole bunch of zombies to beat and kick your ass. And I don't know about any of you guys, but if you've been in like an actual fight and a whole bunch of people have tried to kick your ass, it's not fun. I mean, I don't know from experience, but I've definitely heard from people telling me what it's like, and it's not very enjoyable. But acid, then again, though, that still is probably more likely worse. So, I mean, if I had to pick, they're both disgusting, and they both would be painful, but I mean, acid's acid, dude. I mean, literally, if I had to pick, I think I'm going with the boomer. It would be horrid. Don't get me wrong, it would be horrid. But in the zombie apocalypse, you're already gonna stink. So, I mean, like, might as well just get it over with, right? Now, here's one that makes you think. If you could choose between all the special infected guys, if you had to become one, which one would you pick and why? Because this is an interesting thing to look at. I feel like a lot of us all want to end up being the overpowered ones because we initially think of versus logic being like, oh, I want to be the tank. Oh, I want to be the witch. And I'm not even necessarily restricting this to gender either. I'm not saying because you're a certain gender or a certain type of lifestyle that you have to be stuck as a certain special infected. You do get the choice in this question. That's the idea. But would you want to be the overpowered one, though? Because hypothetically, I think it'd be better to be the weaker thing to get killed quicker, because then you don't have to worry about being responsible for the deaths of others. Think about it. This wouldn't be versus. If we're thinking about in real life situation real quick here, would you really want to become a tank and kill everybody you love? Would you really want to be a witch and just murder a whole bunch of innocent people? Not really. I think, honestly, I'm gonna go with, I'm really going with a lot of, I feel like, unpopular picks this time around, but screw it. I think I'm gonna pick the boomer. Hell, if I could even do it, I would also pick a common. I mean, for me personally, I wouldn't want to be responsible for, you know, killing a bunch of people. Yes, I wouldn't be aware of it, but it still suck. I wouldn't want the idea of my loved ones having to shoot me, let alone trying to, like, take forever to kill me because I'm so, like, overpowered. It'd be really not fair to them. So, in a different way of looking at it, I'm picking the cheap way. I'm going the boomer or something. Although that doesn't mean I'm fat. Alright, now this is going to be another interesting one, guys. So, we're taking, in my opinion, two of the least most fun Left 4 Dead maps in all of the history of the series. And we're going to be putting them in a question that follows as such. If you had to play on either Crash Course or Hard Rain the rest of your life, which one would you pick? Now, I understand, I've seen the video, I've seen the ranking maps videos comments, because I've seen them, you know, still getting comments and being active to this day, and thank you, by the way, for the support on that video, by the way. That's several months old and still getting likes and stuff like that. But a lot of people, I've realized, are actually not as opposed as I thought to Hard Rain. Maybe that's just me. And maybe what it is that some people say they don't like Hard Rain because I say I don't like Hard Rain. I don't really necessarily know. I definitely could have an influence on that. But I have learned that a lot of people like Hard Rain. Now, I do know for sure that a lot of people do not like Crash Course. If there's any Crash Course lovers, please let me know if you exist. I mean, I'm not going to shame you, dude. I mean, I'm just going to be surprised. Like, nobody be the dick and bully anybody. I'm just curious. Just like the people that said they like Hard Rain, tell me if you like Crash Course. I'm just wondering. But anywho, if you had to pick between what I would just like to believe is just not fan favorite maps, which one would you rather choose? Now for me, if I had to pick one, I'm going to have to say Hard Rain, because at least with Hard Rain, it's more replayable than Crash Course is. Crash Course is shorter, and it's very boring to play on. Hard Rain at least has a theme. It at least has the idea of a challenge map. I can respect that, even though I might not particularly like it. But if I had to play Crash Course the rest of my life, I'd feel like I'd rather would just quit the game at that point. Because Crash Course is not Left 4 Dead 2. Crash Course is just a DLC map that was just kind of thrown together last second. You guys can tell that out of all the maps, it's not, like, there. It doesn't really feel like Left 4 Dead truly. It could have been a lot more. And I just can't imagine playing that map forever. It would just get so boring so fast. And that doesn't mean, like, you know, it would be limited to one thing. I could definitely play versus on it, scavenge on it, survival on it, but it's just the map itself, man. We all want our maps to feel alive. Crash Course taking place at a carnival, you know, No Mercy taking place in this abandoned city, Dead Center taking place on this bright, sunny, you know, really cool, punchy map. The map feels alive. But like Crash Course and Hard Rain, no, not really. Here's another one, guys. If you had the choice between doing a in-real-life game of survival or scavenge, which one would you pick? Now, for survival, it would literally be like normal survival. You would have everything essentially in the game scattered around like just a little tiny sandbox-shaped map, and you would just try to survive as long as you can. You basically would be doing what most people would do in a zombie apocalypse and literally just have your main base operation and just defend it as long as you humanly can, even when it's invaded. Now for scavenge, that's slightly different because with scavenge, you have to basically do the opposite of that, where you're doing more of like the supply run strat guy. You would have to try to get things like such as gas and bring them back to an area so that way you can be able to have supplies for your team. So if you really think about it that way, in a real life sense, it would be kind of what you would have to do in the zombie apocalypse to be like, you know, a legitimate survivor, but one is the person that stays at home and, you know, monitors the base. And then the other guy is the supply run guy, the dude that gets more stuff so you can continue to survive. So if you had to pick between IRL, scavenge, or survival, which one would you pick? I'm curious. For me personally, I'd probably pick survival just because I like the game more. But I will say I'm also not completely opposed to scavenge mode either. Like, honestly, I like the idea of like running around going on adventures. So as long as like nothing horrible went wrong, well, I mean, obviously that's not a guarantee. But I just basically just wouldn't be opposed. And I would like to have some fun every now and again and go on some cool missions. Alrighty guys, and now we've got one last final question. So this is going to be actually relating to the Sacrifice comics, which for those of you guys that don't actually know how that goes, not only I'm going to put a link down below in the description so you guys can read this for yourself if you still don't know what the Left 4 Dead Sacrifice comics are. But I also do just want to mention is that with the Left 4 Dead Sacrifice comics, I also will summarize them for you really quickly if you want me to. So just spoiler warning now if you have not read them and you do plan to later. But basically, we all know that in the Left 4 Dead Sacrifice comics, it's basically the origin stories of the Left 4 Dead 1 crew, and basically what happened to them to get to the point of the sacrifice. Now, we all know that Lewis basically was at work, and the outbreak happened kind of like while he was at his job, and he ended up, you know, getting attacked while in the bathroom, and, you know, got bit by a zombie. And then Zoe, hers was probably the most sad. She actually ended up a zombie bite her mom, turned the mom, then the mom bit the dad, and Zoe had to kill her dad. Francis, he was kind of having, honestly, I would feel like one of the more lighthearted stories out of the few. Francis was actually like kind of like just hanging out with his buddies, talking about crime and stuff like that, and just kind of partying and killing the zombies. When then finally with Bill was actually trying to undergo surgery, and then he actually ends up barely waking up, and he actually manages to survive by the skin of his teeth. So, out of all these stories, if you had to be in any of these 4 stories in the situations that they are presented as, if you could choose to be Lewis during his origin story, Zoe during her origin story, Francis during his origin story, or Bill during his origin story, like for example, these circumstances happened in your life, which one would you want to be the one that happens? Would you, in real life, want to be at work and have the zombie apocalypse happen, then be basically attacked while on the shitter? Would you want to be like Zoe and have to kill your parents, which honestly, I would probably say that's probably going to be the least popular one. Would you want to be like Francis and basically party hard with your probably rebellious friends and just kind of like go nuts? Or would you want to be like Bill and basically be like this very last second clutch medical emergency tough as nails veteran and just barely escape by the skin of your teeth? Honestly, if I had to pick one, I'm probably going to have to be going either with Lewis or Francis, because Zoe's is just sad. I don't want to shoot my parents. And then Bill's would just be really, like, just painful sounding, because, like, trying to resist anesthesia while also, like, recovering from, like, basically the middle of surgery, that would be difficult to do. Lewis and Francis probably have the most appealing stories. Honestly, I think I'm gonna go with Francis, because Lewis ends up getting pretty screwed up in that bathroom. I mean, he fights back for sure, but he does get his ass kicked a little bit. I think Francis has the most easiest story out of everybody. He basically just jokes around with his buddies and then just decides to just be like, hey, no more rules, let's kill some zombies. If I had to pick, that's probably what it'd be. If I had to be a criminal in this instance, of course, that wouldn't be necessarily the cleanest track record, but we're just doing this for fun at the end of the day. So I'm going to go with Francis personally. Let me know which story you guys would pick in the comment section down below. But yeah, guys, that is going to be here for today's video. I hope you guys ended up enjoying it. If you did, please consider dropping a like, comment, subscribe, and all that beautiful stuff. If you guys want to see some more Left 4 Dead 2 Would You Rather questions, you can definitely feel free to check out the prior 2 episodes. There will be an annotation on screen at the end for the end card. And I hope you guys ended up enjoying seeing today's video here once again. And once again, if I have not said already, if you guys have enjoyed, please also leave a like, comment, subscribe. If there's any particular question you would actually like to see me ask you guys for a future episode, you can definitely do that as well. And if you guys also want to financially support the channel to show you guys support, you can also check out my Patreon. It's always linked down below in all my YouTube video descriptions. Or you guys can use supporter creator code BlackNinja797 in all caps in the Fortnite Epic Games item shops, because Epic is my very first sponsor and they're sponsoring today's video, so shout out to Epic Games. And I hope you guys end up enjoying seeing another YouTube video from the most unique YouTubers we're ever going to see. Thank you for watching, guys. I love you, and peace out.
Hey meme lords, Jesus here, and you better have enjoyed that video there by the eternal god Daddy Ninja. You should probably subscribe too, or the mighty Moab will come for your balls. If you enjoyed the video, you might like it too, and give me the memes. Flash, bang, boom!